Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we're doing the what's next on Gilberto Ramirez, the former super middleweight champion of the world, as he's coming off of his first career defeat, a convincing 12-round unanimous decision loss to Dmitry Bivol, who is pretty much going to go down as the fighter of the year in boxing. I mean, there's really no ifs, ands, or buts. You know, Gilberto, he fought as hard as he could. He landed shots. He just got outworked by a guy that's just so technically sound and gifted, and Dmitry Bivol. And the guy's just a machine. That's all it is. And I will firmly say that Gilberto Ramirez is probably your third best light heavyweight right now. But the top two guys are just, there's such a gap between the top two guys and everybody else. You know, I mean, there's no shame in losing to Dmitry Bivol, but, you know, the big question now is what's next for Gilberto Ramirez following this loss? Like, you know, Gilberto Ramirez is a big dude at 175 even. You know, he was a huge guy at 168. 175, he's still big. I mean, does he venture up to the cruiserweight division? I hope not, because I think Gilberto Ramirez can compete and probably beat a lot of guys at 175. But let's run through the top 10 and see how this guy bounces back, you know, and who he might fight and go from there. So we start with unified champ Arthur Beterbiev. I really don't see this fight happening. Beterbiev, in my opinion, he's got Anthony Yarde in January in a mandatory fight. If he beats Anthony Yarde, there's options. The WBC is going to allow Beterbiev to explore an undisputed title fight with Dmitry Bivol. Now, Dmitry Bivol goes after Canelo in a rematch, then I think Yarde is going to be mandated to fight Callum Smith. And, you know, and that's what we're going to see there. Beterbiev will. So, and with Beterbiev, outside of the potential of knocking out Gilberto Ramirez, I just think he doesn't need this fight. Even though it's an interesting fight and it's a good fight to make, I don't think it's a fight that Beterbiev would look at that he needs. So, and again, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's either undisputed with Bivol for Beterbiev or Callum Smith after Anthony Yarde. Then a rematch with Dmitry Bivol. There's no way. I mean, it's just no sense in a rematch. Bivol soundly defeated him, and Bivol's got bigger fish to fry. You know, it's either undisputed with Beterbiev or it's Canelo. Then you look at Callum Smith. A very interesting fight. It's a fight that probably could be made. But would Callum Smith want to risk his mandatory shot by fighting Gilberto Ramirez? I don't think so. And Callum Smith, the only way I see Callum Smith not fighting Arthur Beterbiev is if Beterbiev and Bivol go after fight each other for undisputed in the first half of the year. And if not, then I think Callum Smith's going to get the shot at Beterbiev after Anthony Yarde. So probably like towards the middle of 2023. So we'll see. You know, we just got to wait and see how that all breaks down. Then you got Joe Smith Jr. Another wouldn't be a bad fight, but with Joe Smith coming off of a second round knockout loss to Beterbiev, and he got paid in that fight too. He made a pretty good amount. Would he want to? He made almost $2 million to fight Beterbiev. Would he want to fight Gilberto Ramirez coming off that loss? I don't see it. So I'm going to say no. Then you got Anthony Yarde. Well, Yarde's going to fight Beterbiev in January, and if Yarde does not pull off the victory, which most people are thinking that he's not, would Anthony Yarde want to come back and fight Gilberto Ramirez next? I just don't see that. Then you got Jean Pascal. Well, Pascal's fighting in an IBF eliminator next to try to get in line for a world title. I'd love to see him and Ramirez, but I just don't see it in the cards. Marcus Brown, former world title challenger. Marcus Brown hasn't fought since he got knocked out last December against Beterbiev. I don't think he'd want to fight a guy like Ramirez. Plus, I think Brown is with the PBC. They'd have to work with Golden Boy and DAZN. I don't see that happening. A rematch with Unieski Gonzalez, I don't see it. And then Joshua Buatsi. That's an interesting fight right there. I wouldn't completely rule out a showdown with Buatsi, but I think Eddie Hearn wants to bring him along a little more safe and maybe get him into a mandatory fight that's not as threatening as Gilberto Ramirez, but we'll see. But that's pretty much it for the top 10. For Gilberto Ramirez, because he fights with DAZN and Golden Boy, I really think he's probably just going to get a tune-up bout in the first half of the year at some point, maybe on like a Canelo undercard or something of those sorts right there. I think you'll probably see him return then, or return and fight somebody that's not going to be too threatening. He'll shake off the rust. He'll get back into the mix. I do think that there's potential that it's like he fights even above the weight just to shake off the loss, and then comes back more serious in the second half of 2023 to try to pursue another potential title shot at some point. And I also think there's a possibility that he moves up to 200 and fights at cruiserweight, because he's a big boy. So we gotta wait and see, but hopefully he shakes this loss off. No shame in losing to the fighter of the year in Dmitry Bivol, and we'll see what he does next. But that's what I got. That's the what's next on former super middleweight champion Gilberto Ramirez, following his first career defeat at the hands of Dmitry Bivol as he challenged for the WBA light heavyweight title. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.